What's going on, everyone? Let's see here. Get some audio test here. Let's see how she's working. Let's see. What's going on, everyone? All right, audio's working. Let's see what we got here. What's happening, guys? All right. Okay. Let me bring that up here a little bit. All right. How is all the ladies and gents out there this evening? Let me see here. Bring that up a little bit. Testing 1, 2. That's not too bad. Looks like all the normal suspects are in there, including a few new ones. James Cragen's in there. Full Circle's in there. Josh D's in there. What's going on, guys? Mel Scott's in there. Joe Matthews, what's going on? Says hi. Let Me Watcher, what's going on? Good to see you in there as well. David Clark's in the house. Oh, let's see. Daryl Harad's in there. Slick 902 is in the house. Mars Times, what's going on? I was supposed to get back to you. I never did get back to you, did I? So we'll have to definitely get back to you there. I think he sent me an email a while back. And of course, it's been nuts here, getting closer to the holidays and everything. Larry Lobo, what's happening? Rock Hits, what's happening? Good to see you there. Pete's Vlogs is in there. Photography Light and Magic. Let's see. Louis Longbeard's in the house. What's going on there, Louis? Pete Ferrero's in there. Oh, yeah. Ronnie Parker's in there. Martin Lucas is in there. Leslie Warren, what's going on? I hope everything's better for you now, Leslie. You said, hey, I was in the hospital last Friday and did I miss much? Only just to get back. So glad to be home. All big hugs to all. Merry Christmas. Well, yeah, I hope everything's good now, and definitely a Merry Christmas to you and everybody else in the live feed here. Guys, I wasn't even going to do this because I was like, well, I got the other video out. I got another one I got to get out there as well. But I was like, you know what? Before Christmas Eve, why not, chill with you guys? I thought that'd be awesome, Seeing everybody will be chilling with their loved ones at Christmas time, which would be awesome. Just to be able to have some downtime and, like I said, be surrounded by family and friends. Elaine Millard's in there. What's going on? Good to see you there. So hi, Chris and everyone. Happy Christmas to you all. Well, happy Christmas to you as well, Elaine. John Beck. Rexy Husky Channel. Greetings to all, says. What's going on there? It's good to see you in there. Eric Bauer's in the house. What's going on, Eric? Glenn Judd's in there. Says, happy Wednesday, Chris. Well, thank you very much, Glenn. Good to see you in there. Noodles, what's going on? Good to see you in there as well. George Avalos is in there. Yes, they do. He said, alien lives matter. Archetype Net is in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there as well. Mags K's in there. Good to see you in there, Mags. Said, Merry Christmas, everybody. Or Merry Christmas to you, Mags, and your family as well. Hope you have a safe one. DB Property Maintenance. Hey, Chris and pals from upstate New York. What's going on? Up there in upstate. Are you next to the Canadian border or are you near Buffalo or anything? My dad lives up there near Buffalo. Stephen Porter's in there. What's going on? Stephen Porter? Arts and Crafts is in there. This thing just jumped on me, so that's awesome. Let's see. Whitebeard, we have Whitebeard Sky Daddy. What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. Wake Soul's in there. LG Faith is in there. Says hello. 786 Otto. What's going on there, brother? Good to see you in there. He said hello, everyone. Let's see. What's going on, Scratch? You're in there. I can see you're in there. Kim Carrera is also in there. If I'm reading that correctly. Gotta make the screen a little bit bigger here. Every time it's like a default, obviously goes back to the same size. Okay. Olin Creel's in there. He said, "How do you do, Chris? What's going on there, Olin?" David Clark's in here. He said, "Oh, it's good." He said, "I saved the universe earlier today, so I'm free for the rest of the night." Well, it's good to hear, man. Kaz Patton. I guess I'm pronouncing that correctly. Good evening, Chris. And chat dwellers, I try to avoid Christmas anywhere I can. Yeah, for some people it's not so good, and I get it, you know. What's going on there, Mr. Mike Hoover? Good to see you in there. Thank you very much for your support, sir. Thank you. He said, "For your dedication and true passion for the truth, Chris. Merry Christmas. Have a drink on me." Oh, I appreciate you there, Mike. And, yeah, like I said, I can't, say enough, awesome people. But the thing is, it's like, I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody because you guys have been great with the channel for how long. Some of you guys go way back, to like the beginning. So I can't thank you guys enough for sticking by the channel because that's what makes the channel, right? So, I appreciate each and every one of you for that and all the support through the year. You guys are awesome. What can I say, right? So again, Mike, thank you very much. Oops, I think this slid on me again. I hate it when that happens. Thank you, James, again for your support, brother. Appreciate you. He said, "Chris, and to everyone tonight and all our great family of subscribers, I just want to wish you and your families a very merry or happy Christmas." Well, thank you, James. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and I hope everybody's safe. And I hope everybody has a prosperous new year, because we all know this year's been trash. Now, of course, we're probably going to go a little bit into 2021, but let's just hope it looks up and starts getting a whole lot better, right? So let's just hope for the best on that. And, of course, it starts with us. We can try to do the best we can with our families and stuff and make sure it's a good one there, right? So, again, James, thank you very much, sir, for your support, as always. James Dixon says, "Sup, guys? Merry Christmas to all." Merry Christmas to you, James. Appreciate you. JD5503, "Hi, Chris. Christmas Eve here in Sydney. Taking time out for cooking for the Hangout. From the cooking, I'm sorry. For that. Well, I appreciate you being here. And thank you. And Merry Christmas to you and yours. And again, hope you have a prosperous new year and a healthy one. Richard Bunt, what's going on? He said, "Hi, all." Oh, I know. I've seen this photography. You said 2 new variants of COVID in the UK got the government panicking. Yeah, they said something about, now I don't know if this is correct or not, but I heard over here that they said it could cause blindness or something like that. So I think if you get anything, bad enough, it can cause some kind of permanent, reaction, if you will. So, I don't think it, I wouldn't panic about it. I'd be just like, okay. I'd be, curious to see what happens and everything else. And, but I thought it was funny because, they're trying to push this vaccines, both of them. Of course, you got the Pfizer and the other one was a Moderna or some weird name. But I find it amusing because they're pushing this so badly, and, they're applauding each other. "Oh, look at that. He's getting the needle." It's like, and what about the next variant? Well, it'll still work for that. It just won't be as bad on it. Whatever. It's just every time you turn around. Now, wasn't there something else that just came out too? Ebola or something like that in South Africa or something like that just came back out again. I'm like, here we go. But, you don't listen to everything. You just say, let's just see what happened in time, and let's see how this is taken care of. So if they got it going on there, then stop your travel. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter what country, right? It's like if it started over here, let's stop travel going to any other country. Let's just squash it where it's, where it is. Because I just see it's just, if we can learn from this one here and any other last one, or the ones prior to this, we should have learned something by now, right? Photography said, "My wife bought me a table for Christmas. She doesn't know yet." Well, that was nice of her. Oh. Mike, you said evil doesn't stop. Oh, it doesn't sleep, rather. So nor shall we. You got that right. Awake Soul, you said, I love the new song from Katy Perry. I guess it is. It's a funny video about blue humanoid aliens. I haven't seen that yet. I have to check that out. Probably pretty funny, too. Thing just jumped on me here. Let me go back. See where I was at. It's like you just ever so slowly just scrolling down with the mouse, and I was like, whew, and it's like, what the hell? Yeah, I agree with you, Martin. You said hopefully 2020 will have definitive proof of aliens. I don't know about definitive proof, but you ever notice it's getting ever so closer? You know, there's more and more people coming out, and just like they're just, you know, from every angle, whether it's, you know, whether it be abductions or sightings and stuff we're seeing on Mars, and, you know, the Pentagon videos and so on and so forth. I'd be anxious to see. I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but wasn't it the 17th of this month that China was supposed to have brought back the soil samples from the moon, wasn't it? In fact, I think I got it on one of my tabs. I think they had supposed to brought it back on the 17th, was it? Anybody know about that? What was positive is, if I read the article right, because I've had it there for about a week, I'm not sure if that's true, but I'd be anxious and curious to see what it is, right? Yeah, Arthur Krause, you're just saying the same thing, just as I'm saying it. You said, any new news about China's rover thing? Well, again, it's supposed to be some kind of lander, and the way they explain it, it's supposed to land, supposed to drill, get a core sample, load it inside a container, and then it's supposed to fly up to a orbiter orbiting around the moon. It's supposed to then basically connect with it. It's supposed to transfer it over, and then that one's supposed to go back to Earth. That vehicle is supposed to go back to Earth. So that's what I'm saying. I'd be curious to know what's going on. Richard Mortimer, he said, RNA viruses mutate all the time. Well, the way they're talking, though, it's kind of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be another mutant strain. But I've always said that. It's like, you know, people go run out and get these shots for this particular strain, and then they go, well, I just got this darn thing again. Well, you can get it again, but not only that's a different strain. So does it really help you? It might take the edge off it, but I mean, I don't think it's going to completely take it away. And that's what I think people need to be curious and, you know, do a little research about. I agree with you, Archetype Net. You said, I predict we will see quite a few mutations of the SARS-CoV-2 over the next year. And unfortunately, I don't think it's just going to immediately die off, but, you know, we'll see what happens with these vaccines coming out and everything else. And because we know the mask ain't working right, as much as we wear them. In fact, they just said this not too long ago, how, I don't know, was it the CDC that said that, oh, it's not enough, you know, people need to be more distant and stuff like that. It's like, that goes into the no crap category. You know, you can wear it because if you cough, it doesn't just spread instantly, like goes across the room, right? Or sneeze, which is kind of disgusting if you get your mask on, but you get the idea. If you cough, it doesn't just go out immediately. So that's the only thing I can see that it helps. But most of these masks, you know as well as I do, you can breathe in through the sides, you got it through your nose. Somebody coughs in front of you and they're not wearing a mask, there's a good chance you're going to inhale this thing, and of course you've got it. But it has nothing to do with your hands. You know, you could put your hands on a shopping cart wherever you shop and somebody had it, even though a lot of these places go out of their way to clean, like a lot of the Walmarts around here use the wipes and stuff like that, and, you know, try to keep these things clean. But if they're not, you know, you get the mask on, you're all good, and you got it on, you know, you're going through there shopping and everything else, and you go home, you take this thing off or hang it in your car or whatever that you do, and then you go, oh, I got an itch. Oh, you just got it. So the mask doesn't help. But it does in that aspect, like I said, if you're coughing or if they're coughing, whatever. So it does help in that aspect, but it doesn't help a whole lot. I say 20%. That's just me, though. So, yeah. Yeah, Mike, I'm afraid you're right. You said they won't cut loose any solid truths. No, but I mean, if what I like about it is you won't get the whole thing from like one source, right? So I think what's going to happen is you're going to get like these little pieces of the puzzle, and even if you get like what Sarah did on her piece about Antarctica. And by the way, I got a couple little things to show you on that. It's pretty cool. Their findings on there. I don't know if you guys have read it, but it's pretty interesting. But between that, the stuff we're seeing on the moon, the one, and you guys have already commented a couple times about the last Mars video. Just little bits and pieces taken from here, and just, put it together. We're part of something much larger. Even if you don't get the whole truth, there's some truth to it. And there's a little truth of here, and here, and that's all that matters to me. Now, if we can get the full truth, absolutely, that'd be awesome. In fact, it'd be astounding. Stephen Porty said, Chris, don't listen to the rubbish. It's just a strain that's mutated, which is potent, so they've locked us down again to stop the strain from spreading. But we've stupid people who want to party. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, understandable. A lot of these people have been doing this. It's like here. Remember that in the summertime when it was huge. It's like, this huge outbreak. People are like, oh, I think I'm going to go to Myrtle Beach and just chill out. It's like, why are we doing this? It's like, stay home. I know it sucks. It's like cabin fever in the wintertime. Of course it sucks. But it's like, at some point, you got to say, maybe I'll just stay home for a little bit, let this thing pass, and less chance of you getting it and giving it to everybody you know and love, and, so on and so forth. But, yeah, people are just out, going different places like nothing ever happened. I'm going, guys, what's going on here? But, I'm hoping that this new vaccine's going to cure it all. Kaz, you said being primed for Project Bluebeam. You know what? It's hard to tell, but at some point, any of these sources, ever notice like some of these sources come out a little bit more? They come out with a little bit more. Like us, we find a little bit more every time. So it's like the moon photos. We see a little bit more out of there, so on and so forth. And there's other people doing it, like Alien Hunter does great work. And just some of the slideshows and some of the just slow-mo that he does in the videos, and you see some incredible things in those photos. And he gets nice and zoomed in, so it's awesome. Does fantastic work. He doesn't even have to do any commentary, and just the music behind it. A lot of times he plays a little Pink Floyd, which is awesome. But just channels like that, you get to see it yourself. Okay, and so on and so forth. Other people coming out with this. So, again, a little bit more at a time. When will it, come all together? That's hard to tell. I don't know. Yeah, Martin, you said, I agree. They are dropping more hints about they are out there. That's a fact. That is a fact. Well, thank you, Leet, 463. I appreciate that. And Merry Christmas to you and yours, and a happy and healthy New Year coming up. Everybody stay safe. That's the way we want it, Mags K, you said, Chris, didn't they land at the Apple Bite? I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. I haven't heard anything lately from them. Of course, I really haven't been reading up on there. Like I said, I've been very busy at work and stuff like that, and obviously the holidays. So really haven't had a chance to really check it out, other than the 17th they were supposed to be heading back. So obviously, clearly they're here back at Earth, right? So, I don't know. Yeah, Noodles, I got a tab on that as well. At least we'll touch on that briefly, about the Proxima Centauri signal, or beacon. Definitely be hitting on that too. Let's see. Thank you, Mr. Kyle Harvey. I appreciate you, bro. Much love to you. Got that flying pear or whatever that is. Let's call it super pear. Yeah, we could do that, Akita. Now you said drip, drip, drip disclosure. Put to rap music. We could do that. Jack Lambert, what's going on? You said, Sup, Chris and subs, hit the thumbs up. Hit it. Oh, speaking of thumbs, we also got our normal thumbs down. Appreciate you being here, man. I was almost starting to think you weren't going to be here. Got to give them love too, guys. Come on. Oh, let's see. Elaine Millard, you said, I'm back from doing the bins. Whew, what a adventure. Leaves not so wet as rain nearly stopped finally, but near half blown down the road. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, it's like we're supposed to get like, well, first they said like 4 to 6, now they're saying 3 to 5 inches of snow for us. I think it's tomorrow. It's supposed to be like, I think it's like a high of 45, somewhere on there. And then, of course, it's supposed to go sharply colder in the afternoon, turn to snow, and then overnight. So we're going to have an actual white Christmas. And we don't have to go anywhere, so we're going to be just chilling. So let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. We don't care. If I still had my four-wheel drive, I'd go out and play in it. I just love snow. It doesn't bother me. Now, if we can only... Now, would you guys agree with this? If we can only have snow at 70 degrees, wouldn't that be awesome? Still get that white Christmas going on, but yeah, you can go out there in shorts. Yeah, I know, it's a little silly, but it is pretty funny, though, if you could do that. That would be like the perfect combination, right? We actually had a sharp contrast from last Christmas. It was like 64 degrees. Now it's going to be like, I think it's like a little over freezing, if that. It's not supposed to be very warm at all. And Saturday morning when I go back to work, which is just awesome. I love it how you just go right back to work after Christmas. But it's supposed to be like 13 or 12 or 13 degrees Fahrenheit for, that morning. So it'll be awesome when loading trucks. Kyle said, I will die for your freedom. I will do the same, and just to get the truth out. That's what it's all about, right? Oops. Oh, I hate it when this thing does this. Well, we hope so, Olin. You said no disclosure until NASA's actual controllers are stripped of power. Could be soon. I don't know. It's kind of like they're passing the torch. Of course, it's a bad way of passing it. In other words, keep denying and then just pass it on to the next guy, right? So, yeah, it's going to come from either other countries slipping up, us finding more of it, and other researchers finding it. So that's what's going to happen. So I don't know. It's just, I'm with you guys. I mean, I wish you'd just come out with it and just be done with it, right? Marcus Peters, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. You said, good morning, Chris. Greetings from South Africa. Well, I hope you're doing well down there. And let me see. And Merry Christmas to you and yours there, right? Pete, you said Falcon 9 looks like the workhorse of the space program. Very dependable and reusable. It's looking that way. And, of course, they'll come out with something better. You know that. We've had the Atlas rockets for how long? And we've used them. Now, everybody here knows that there's a good chance that they got much better propulsion, whether it be ion propulsion, plasma, whatever it may be. A lot better than what we got now. And, that's for just the general public, so to speak. And you can bet they have something much better than that, right? Oops. I hate it when this thing does this. Let me try to go all the way back down here. Thank you, James, again, for your support. He said, Chris, Irish government are saying that if you get the vaccine that you may not always protect you. Yeah, well, never 100%. You know that, right? Yeah, right. They don't want to lose their fare control they now have, but people are starting to see this. Oh, yeah. You know, it's all about keeping you in fare, right? It's been like that for God knows how long, since the dawn of time. So, yeah, people are starting to get a little bit more awake to this, and they're saying, they're not buying it. Let's just put it that way, right? They're getting to the point where they're just going, I had about enough. Do we still keep believing everything they tell us? I don't. I don't believe everything. And, of course, you got to do your own research. Just say yay or nay, by yourselves, because you can't just listen to anybody, right? I always tell people, listen, if you're in fear of it or whatever, just research it. Get as much research as you can, and obviously you're going to pay attention to the one that has the most positive and the most maybe, peer-reviewed or whatever, whether it be about health, science, whatever it may be. That's what you want. You want it to be like, by scientists and, these health professionals that are way at the top, so on and so forth. So that's the way I do it. We can hear all kinds of stuff, and a lot of it could be, bogus or speculation, but just do our homework. It's the best way to defeat any of that BS. What's going on there, Mr. John Water? I didn't even see you sneak in there. Good to see you in there, man. Merry Christmas to you and yours, man. I know you're down there chilling, so. Oops. Clerks 93, what's going on? He said, yo, what's happening? Michael Mertes, he said, thumbs up. Alrighty. Oops. God, I hate when this thing does this. Yeah, Kyle, you're right. You said research and go with your gut. Your gut never lies. Well, again, I always encourage people to just research anything. You can't just listen to me or anybody else. You say, oh, I hear what he's saying, but I'm not sure that's the truth. Let me go ahead and research it myself, and that's what I would encourage everybody to do, because knowledge is power. That's all there is to it, right? What's going on there, Mr. Michael Stark? You said. What's up, Chris? Happy Wednesday, everyone. Well, happy Wednesday to you, and Merry Christmas to you and yours, by the way. And I hope you're doing well. Sparkus Aurelius, he said, Merry Christmas, Chris. Thanks for all your hard work. I appreciate that, man. I think I would take a one-way trip to Mars. Problem is we're probably already there. Yeah, you can always bet on that. Like I said, there's no way to confirm that, only because we don't know. We can't actually go there and see it for ourselves. But like I said, if they were able to do the Apollo missions back in the day, they could keep going. I mean, what's the next step besides the moon? The next planet over. Now, of course, you can go either way, but we'd rather go to the Martian planet. So, yeah. Michael, there you go. So that's the only difference between us and them. Information 411. Absolutely. Just look this stuff up. Let's see. The workout artist, fitness, and motivation. What's going on, man? Good to see you in there. They said, hey, Chris, happy to catch you live today. Work out and learn. Well, appreciate you being with us there, right? Mr. Brian Norton, what's going on? He said, stay warm on Christmas, Chris. Gonna be a bit nippy in Ohio, West Virginia. Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be really chilly. I think we're gonna. Brian, how much? You're in Ohio, right? I would assume so from your comment. Now you're not supposed to get all that much snow. I think it's just on maybe the northeastern part of you guys, or the southeastern rather. But in our area, we're supposed to get hit pretty hard. So, yeah. That ought to be a lot of fun. But snow doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me in the least bit. Like I said, when I was living in Rhode Island, yeah, I mean, I'd get in my Blazer, boom, four-wheel drive. Last snowstorm we had before I moved down here was like 18 inches of snow. I went over to my buddy's house. He took out his Jeep Cherokee. We were just having a good old time with it. Then I went and checked out some family and friends, make sure they could shovel out and stuff like that, and they got stuck. I pulled them out. So it was fun. I love it. But you know, it could be also dangerous. So you got to be really careful with it. I can tell you now, you're talking back to Jason. Someone asked last week. I'm sure it's the Parks, the Parks Observatory. Yep. Stephen Grilly, he said, what do you make of the signal that's coming from Proxima Centauri B that's baffling astronomers? We're going to touch on that pretty soon because it's interesting and I don't know. It's almost like when you read into it, it seems like they're not telling you the whole thing. Am I the only one that thinks that, or it's just weird how they talk about it? And like I said, we'll get into this pretty soon. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Pete. Yeah, you must be getting buried over there. Like I said, my dad lives up there near Buffalo. He said the lake effect, yeah, it's like a snow machine there, man. You wake up, you can't see a car. You know, you're like, what the hell? So, yeah, that's never a lot of fun. But if it's on Christmas and they give you a chance to, you know, they'll dig you out or, you know, have to shovel out, yeah. Yeah, it's always a lot of fun. Louis Longbeard, thank you very much, sir, for your support. Much appreciated. Say, hey, Chris, how's it going? The lunar vid this week was great. Where did those tracks go? Obviously covered over. Have a great Christmas and chat. Well, thank you. You and your family have a good Christmas as well, right? Well, that was the whole thing, right? When we had that, the photo of the moon, the whole right side and the whole top of that thing, right across the top was complete trash, right? So it makes you wonder, okay, so let me guess. The camera was really focused on the front. And then we seen that whatever that was supposed to be a poor excuse for a lander back in the background, and it didn't even look like a lander. But if it was the lander, then it was completely messed around with because of the obfuscation and everything else and manipulation they did around that thing. It didn't look anything like a lander. But you see how they're actually manipulating and censoring these photos, right? They're just absolutely just taking everything out of them. But you can find the stuff. You just got to like really search through it and burn through some spots and try to get through it. But there's a lot of stuff up there. They're not up there for the rocks, guys. I promise you they're not. Now, would they be looking at some of the soil around said structures, parts, dilapidated spacecraft, whatever it may be up there, right? Would they be doing that to see if radiation or anything like that? Sure. But that's not the sole reason why they're there. I can almost promise you that. It's like, yeah, the Apollo missions went and dug for all of this rocks and all this other stuff, so let's go do the same. No. I don't believe that's the case. Now, I'm not saying they haven't done that, but I don't think that's the sole reason. You know, they might have done it for that reason, like, well, let's check out the soil samples around this area. Because I know they want to use a lot of these areas, once we do go there, like on a normal basis, if we try to put a base, that if obviously there's liquid water, you've got, some kind of fuel for a spacecraft. So that makes sense. So the more, areas have more water, obviously the better it is, right? So, but you know as well as I do, that's not the sole reason to go there. Nicholas Snyder, he said, "What's up, everyone? Everybody, rather. That piece on Antarctica was great. I would suggest a higher budget, maybe an editor, maybe a little CGI, LOL, but seriously, it was good. Is Antarctica the link to Moon, Mars anomalies? I don't know about the link, but there's so many things that they're hiding from us on the Moon, on Mars, and probably just about any other planet or moon that they're going to. So it makes sense to me that why wouldn't they lie about something that may be either not ours or something that was ours way back thousands of years ago that they just don't want to say anything. It's, so again, we're being lied to not only outside our planet Earth, but here as well. And, like Praveen Mohan, where he does a lot of the ancient, he goes to a lot of his ancient ruins, there's things in the air that you just go, wow, these people that were so primitive built this? That's crazy. Some of the intricate things you see there is just, it's mind-boggling. It's just cool. So again, Nicholas, they may not be linked per se, but as far as not telling the truth about what's there, I guess that would be the link, right? Michael Stark, he said, I stumbled on one picture that's off the monitor in their command center that which seems unedited. The ground has tons of rectangular objects, and the craters have sharp spikes sticking out of them. You know what? That wouldn't surprise me. I don't know how long you've seen it, meaning if we're there shortly or whatever. But it probably, if it was live, you probably wouldn't see it very long because it'd be like, we're showing that. I don't know if they go. But yeah. What's going on there, Your Highness? He said, good day. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Robert S. is in there. He said, hey, Chris, good to see you. Well, good to see you too there, Robert. Hope you're doing well. John Ward, they're actually blocking this thing out, so I don't know. You're trying to give Noodles, you said, Noodles, check this out, and it's actually blocked. It's held for review. I'm hitting show, and it's saying error, try again. So I don't know if you can put it in another form or whatever, because it's just saying, I just hit it again and saying error, try again. So if you got another way of doing it, or just maybe the address is not 100% or whatever, just try it again. Stephen Porter, he said, Chris, I wonder if any of the Apollo astronauts have written a book on what they saw and get it published after their deaths so the truth can be told. Well, I don't think there's any out there, but I mean, there's a lot of them who were starting to come out before, later on in their life, before their passing, and said that there was, they believed that they were being visited by UFOs, there was abductions, and, had these guys been in the Apollo mission at the time and you asked them that, they go, no. You'd probably get a no out of them. But it's funny how all that had changed. Of course, that was years later, right? You're talking, 40, 60 years later. So over that course of time, their minds can change, of course, and their opinions can change. Maybe their research they've done has changed. So, but I'm not aware of any that have done that, but I know they've talked about, their moon experiences and stuff like that. And, of course, Buzz talked about how there was actually a couple astronauts that talked about these weird UFOs and, unidentified flying objects and stuff like that. That was orbiting the moon. And, of course, some of them were on some of these large crafts that they talk about on the edge of a crater on the moon watching us and everything else. Yeah. It was pretty cool. see. Claire Mead, you said just saw that you were live. Hi, all. What's going on? Good to see you in there, Claire. Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, I just caught up to the weather chat. The front, that front you guys are talking about is heading straight for me, 60 degrees Fahrenheit today. Yeah, we're actually, like, I think we were at 60 as well. And, but yeah, like tomorrow is supposed to be, I don't know if it's supposed to be like 48, 45, whatever it's supposed to be. And then it's supposed to just like, it's supposed to crash. And then, of course, then I have rain, ice, crap. It's going to be like 18 for a low tomorrow night. So, yeah. Actually, it'll be, it'll be low. And then, by Friday morning, we're supposed to have like 3 to 5 or 4 to 5. I don't think they really truly know, but they got a basic idea, I guess. So, yeah. Still showing that it won't, it's an error there, John. I don't know what the heck's going on here. Let me see if I can go down here. What's going on there, Renee Cruz? Good to see you in there. No, I didn't see that, Michael. You said, Chris, did you see the strange planet-sized anomaly that flashed in the solar viewer last week? Several different cameras caught it after a major solar burst happened, so it wasn't a camera glitch. Oh, wait a minute. Was that with the Soho that showed that? I'm trying to think if that's what you're talking about. If so, I did see something like that. It was very briefly, but I saw it. Max K, you said, yeah, Israeli minister said Trump knows all about it. Don't think he's the only one. Yeah, exactly. You know as well as I do that's crap. There's a lot of people that are in the know. Stephen Grilly, you said, talking about Edgar Mitchell, I believe him. Well, the thing about Edgar is that, if my memory serves, he was also into astrophysics, and he had a team that he had put together where they were coming up with like I don't know if I want to use it, their own research into different things too. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. Very brilliant man. Edgar was not an idiot. He's very smart. Well, thank you, Your Highness. I do appreciate that. That's awesome. Dancing Bear. I love that thing. It's pretty funny. But, yeah, I do appreciate your support. Thank you. Samantha Morris, you said, Merry Christmas to you all. I enjoy being part of this community. Thanks to you, Chris, for all the hard work you do to bring these anomalies to us and open our eyes. Just over a year following. Well, I appreciate that, Samantha, and I do appreciate the kind words there, right? Well, thank you. You said, again, I love your work. Well, I appreciate that. Custom Tailored One, what's going on? I didn't see you sneak in. He said, it makes me wonder why Trump really created Space Force. Yeah, and, I think it's just another way to say, hey, guys, we've had this for a while. Because like I said, I believe it's probably just the extension, or it is the Star Wars project back in the 80s. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, that are up there in age have heard about the same thing. This is nothing new. And, it may be just an extension of that, or they're just trying to rewrap it in a different name. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Colleen Bonds, right? I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. Merry Christmas. Sorry I missed the last one. New job, different hours. Also, there was a Canadian news and an astronaut going to the moon soon. Yeah, yep. They're, trying to remember, too. They have a whole crew that's actually going there. Wasn't it? Maybe I'm confusing it, but I think it was the Artemis, wasn't it? But congrats on the new job there, by the way. And Merry Christmas to you and yours. Yeah, I think it's, trying to remember if it was 2023, was it? I'm getting all these numbers jumbled up because I've been reading so much of this stuff lately. Trying to do the catch-up thing, because like I said, during the week it's kind of hard to do that, being that we're busy at our job and stuff like that. And I want to at least get that other video of you guys. And I do have another Mars one coming out. It's in the Valles Marineris area. Kind of really weird, man, when you see these things, because it's a satellite view of this area. And you can find some pretty interesting features in that area. So that one's coming up soon, too. Mimi reacts. What's going on? Said, sup? Yeah, that's what they're calling it now, isn't it? The Guardians. Whitebeard, you said Space Force's Guardians. James Gunn had an aneurysm. It seemed to me that's what they're calling them now, instead of like, whatever, from different forces. And they're calling this one here the Guardians. Guarding against what? Now, that could be anything from, obviously, asteroids or other bodies coming to Earth, stuff like that. So, yeah. But interesting to say the least, right? Okay. All right, let me see. No matter what I do, John, it's just not working. It might be something to do with the address itself. I noticed you got, maybe the asterisks are throwing that thing off. Because you got an asterisk on one end and one on the other. Maybe that's the problem? Michael Starkey says Space Force is part of the slow disclosure. Once everyone raises their consciousness vibration, then the public will be ready for full alien info and space travel. ETs are rooting for us to grow up. Yeah, I mean, they basically, and they, we've heard this from many sources where they're just saying, listen, we just don't want to interact that much with these people because they're just not on that level yet. Again, you're sitting there warring with each other. You're doing just crazy things. They're just going, are these people ready yet? I don't believe that they are. And that's the whole key. And you can understand that, right? Picture yourself being one of these alien, beings and stuff like that, or a civilization coming to maybe greet us. Because, I mean, let's say you could travel about pretty easy in space. I mean, you may just want to be, hey, I wonder who else is in the neighborhood. And you come across us and go, okay, they're clearly not ready yet. Let's just move on. Or you made contact with our higher officials, and you're hoping that, we'd like to just really welcome you in, but we don't feel you guys are ready. Excuse me. And we don't feel you guys are ready at all, so maybe next time. So, I don't know. Colleen, you said, thanks. I'm a cannabis dispensary general manager. Woohoo! Well, it's a good thing you got hired on. Oh, I'm kidding. But that's awesome, though. Hey, a job is a job, and if you're getting better money and better hours, nothing wrong with that, right? RPM Wizard says it's been a project for a long while. Oh, yeah. These things, don't get me wrong. It might be a new branch of the Star Wars project. It might be something else. We don't know. We're just not in the know. So, but you can bet that this has been branched off, or it's what's the word I want to use? Maybe it's revamped. Like it's been out there, but now it's been revamped into something much better. Kind of like upgrading to something, instead of the old weaponry, maybe it's something much more sophisticated, right? Max K said, I don't think it is us who aren't ready. It's them. Well, that might be. They're just, I mean, I guess there's a lot of variance. I guess it's the way you look at it, right? Like I said, if I was to approach a planet that was still barbaric, I mean, think about it. If they've overgrown this, meaning they've been past this, like the warring with their other civilizations and stuff like that, and they're far above anything monetary and things that you would normally war about, meaning resources, monetary, this, that, and the other. Whether precious, metals, and if they're above all that and they all work together, then there's nothing to argue or fight about. Now, that doesn't mean they can't be warring with other civilizations, and maybe they're just cautious and saying, well, we don't want to be that one to be one of them to be warring with us. I was watching one of the things, it was on, oh God, I'm not going to remember the name of the program now, but they were talking about how they were, that they believe that the civilization on Mars actually were warring with each other, and that's why we see the nuclear fallout. So in other words, it's something that we would do. In other words, we'd war, well, we finally used a nuclear weapon, and now we've killed each other off. So they believed it's that. Now, either way, there was some kind of nuclear war or something happened on that planet. Disclosure TV, good to see you in there. He said, I did read an article on defense.com that the Space Force is starting computer training simulations for aerial combat missions. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, and I get that because I'm sure it's going to be terrestrial as well as extra, meaning outside our planet. And we don't know what the technology they have either. Top secret planes, jets, whatever. They could be using those, but they're just using regular fighters for now and whatever. And of course, if they're using other fighters, meaning high-tech stuff, and they're out in space and stuff like that, we don't know. Pure speculation, but it's, they got to train to a certain degree. And if it has anything to do with a civilization outside of Earth, they're going to have to practice out there too, you would think, right? And especially if it's new technology, they got to test out. So who knows? But it's starting to like we're stepping into a sci-fi movie if you think about it, right? Every time you turn around, it's something similar to that. It's just crazy, right? Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, apparently the truth we seek is highly disturbing. Jimmy Carter is reported to have cried. You guys have seen the Apollo astronaut interview. No, I don't think I've seen it with Jimmy Carter. I have to check that out. You have a link to that by any chance, Whitebeard? I'd like to check that out. Mr. Seven Digit says they will bank on not having to disclosure to us when we start walking around with cyber implants, robots, and flying cars, colonies on Mars. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I pretty much said that last time. Once, let's fast forward. All right, now we're already on. We've got a colony on Mars. Let's say there's 100,000 people on the planet, okay? They're not going to have any problem going, hey, by the way, there was a civilization here on Mars at one time. Ooh, shocker. So because we're already there. It's old hats. It's not a big deal at this point. It's kind of like if you see something here on Earth and you say, well, we didn't think, ancient man could do this. Well, we're kind of shocked, but it's really intriguing, but okay, next. If you were to announce that now and you're saying, so you're going to Mars while this stuff is up there? Oh, that's why you're going there. So they're not going to do that. You can almost bet they won't do that. You have to find out by researching this stuff yourself or trying to read between the lines in these photos and stuff. And that's where the real truth is going to come out, unfortunately. But again, like I said, we're getting it from little tidbits from different sources, and that's what's making it interesting. So I think it's cool. Mimi said, if we have a colony on Mars, it won't take long until we get into a fight. Humans are always the same. Yeah, pretty much. If there's any life forms on that planet, yeah. I mean, they'll be like, oh, we got more power, so therefore we're dominating. It's like, how about coexisting? Wouldn't that be nice? Now, I don't mean coexisting like Independence Day. Remember that? They went down there and seen that alien. Can it be any peace? No peace. And then he's basically saying die to all the humans. Is that glass bulletproof? Nope. So, yeah. We don't want that kind of coexistence because that wouldn't be coexistence. It'd be extermination. Stefan, you said during World War II, when the atom bombs were dropped, there were lots of sightings by soldiers and sailors of strange flying ships, but they were told not to report it as it could have been enemy weapons. Well, it's kind of like what the heck was it? Which country was it? They call these orbs, they call them Foo Fighters, that's where the group Foo Fighters got their name, or Foo Fighters, but they call themselves Foo Fighters. So, I don't know if it was Germany. But anyway, they were seeing them like right off the starboard side of their planes and stuff like that. They could see these orbs following them around during the war and stuff like that. And just really weird, man. Cool at the same time, but really weird. So this stuff it's almost like they're monitoring our progress, or lack of, depending how they look at it. And they're just going, okay, we hear stories about them shutting down missile silos and, locking everything out and stuff like that. I'm not there. I can't say for sure, but that's what we're hearing. So it's like they know. It's like, you see a child is ready to eat something they're going to choke on. You're like, don't eat that. Help and snatch it out of their hands. It's kind of like they're doing to us. Like, you guys are going to hurt yourself. Stop that. Give you a little slap on the wrist. Shut everything down. And then, okay, on you go. So it's kind of like they're doing that purposely. Like, they're looking out for us, but they're not coming right out and saying, like, literally broadcasting to us, Yeah, you're right, Highness. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Germany. But yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. I mean, even through all the years, ancient times, people have talked about, seeing flying ships and aliens, and they drew about them and everything else. I mean, where did they get this idea if that's not true, right? Out to Crouch, he said, I don't know if you continued on for something. He said water. He said, I think in the River Thames, London. Then the light erupted up out of the water, making a flashlight explosion because it went so fast into the sky. Were more joined it, UFOs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see this, and you read about this all over the world, guys. So is it just one country that's mental and they're just seeing things? Oh, wow, mass illusions or delusions. No. Because it's all over the world, right? Yep, Olin, you said the same thing. German Foo Fighters. Yep. But they call them Foo. That's like Foo Fighters. But they, of course, the group called them Foo Fighters. So it's just the way they talk about it. Kim Carrera, he said the damage done to Mars was so massive and complete that it had to be a conflict from a superior force to the weapons held by the Martians, Brandenburg. Yeah, I mean, he does talk about that, right? John Brandenburg, he does talk about that. And, whatever happened to that planet, if you could just, like, build a time machine and go back and then actually go to that planet, can you imagine, though, if they were just like us or maybe more advanced than us? Now, let's suppose it wasn't them that did it. And, again, like you're saying, a superior force had done it. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being there and that happening to you? But more importantly, way before that, if you can go back in time, where you're looking at this stuff and going, wow, this is insane. This is incredible. To see more life, civilization, a civilized civilization, living on another planet. That must have been awesome. And, of course, now you look at it now, and, yeah, not so awesome, right? Yep, Max K, you were answering the questions of the other guys there. He said Germany was developing the Glock bell. Yep, the Glock. Yep, looked like a giant bell type thing. And they said that it could literally, like, they didn't know if it would just go through time or whatever, but it just like disappear and stuff like that. Disclosure TV, you asked, Chris, how would you react if one day NASA started releasing unaltered images of Mars and they show things you found hidden in the images? Well, of course, you'd be highly delighted, right? You'd be like, oh, this is sweet. And, of course, it confirms everything you've been saying, right? That would be fantastic. I even said that one time. I was hoping, like, one day I'd be, like, checking my email, and all of a sudden, this out of nowhere, it's just like a mail that you can't respond to or anything like that. Somebody says, here's an actual photo, and this is from this Sol. So now you look at the photo and you go, oh my God. And you can see what looks like structures. Then what you do is you find the one that NASA supplies and you match them. And then you say, look at the difference between the real, and I mean real photo, raw, compared to their raw, manipulated, censored photo. And you go, look at the difference of the stuff they were hiding. And you just bring it right out. You take that chance. Because I know some of you guys have asked me, what would you do, if you had that photo? Would you actually show it? Or would you be worried about getting, basically visited by the men in black? And I said, I probably wouldn't be able to hold it in. I'd probably have to, show it. Because I'd be overwhelmed myself that I had seen this. And to see an actual uncut or uncensored photo would be insane. It'd be like, I'd make the biggest deal I could out of it so everybody could see this. In other words, like gather people around from everywhere and then lay this thing out and then have people, listen, record this, do that. Because once it's there, you don't know what, unfortunately what happened to the person who brings it out. But everybody can get a piece of that. That's the whole key. Let me get this here. Oh. Wife was nice enough to bring a drink here. That's nice and cold. Let me see. All right, let's have a quick look at this. Now, if you guys have seen this, but this is the test tubes they're going to use on the new Perseverance rover, and they're completely cleaned. And it says this animation shows the data collected on the Mars 2020 sample tube using a computerized tomography or CT scanner. Engineers working on the sample tubes used a 3D imaging to better understand the tube's internal structure. And of course, image credit is NASA, JPL, Caltech. Now, you can see this. These are the ones that they're going to have, and I'll show you this right here. You can see these people working on it. I'm going to make this bigger for you guys. And you can see these tubes, and I forget exactly what these things are made out of, but regardless, they're going to go to the underbelly of this thing. It looks like an oil pan from an old Chevy. No. But it's supposed to tuck up underneath the belly of this thing. And then once the analyzer, first they got to drill into the surface, goes up into the analyzer, or the full spectrum analyzer, and then analyzes it, sends the information back to Earth, and then drops it into these tubes instead of just tossing it out on the ground. So then they're saying it two ways. One, there'll be a craft that'll pick them up, and then it'll go to orbit, out in orbit, and then it's supposed to be transported from there to Earth, or just come straight out of Mars and straight to Earth. I guess now that was a far different story compared to last time. If you remember correctly, they were saying, no, we're just going to drop them on the surface, and then when man finally gets there, they're going to look at it themselves. It's like, okay. I don't know how much better the spectrum analyzer can be compared to the human, meaning you can bet they put every bit of technology into these things to analyze the soil. Now, there's another thing I don't know if you guys have noticed, too. They were talking about this, and if I remember correctly, they're saying they're trying to make sure these are completely sterilized. Get this, because if there's any kind of microbial life, they want to make sure it's not from Earth, which makes sense. Now, the other thing about it is, if they do find it, are they going to say, oh, well, that was from Earth? Or they're going to say it's actually from Mars. They want to make sure it's absolutely clean, so when it gets there, any life that's found in these tubes are nothing but Martian. So we'll see how far that goes and how good they do. See, you can see right here, marvels of engineering. The rover's sample tubes must be tough enough to safely bring red planet samples on the journey back to Earth in immaculate condition. All right, so pretty cool. The tubes carried in the belly of NASA's Mars 2020 Perseverance rover are destined to carry the first samples in history from another planet back to Earth. Future scientists will use these carefully selected representatives of Martian rock and regolith, broken rock and dust, to look for evidence of potential microbial life present in Mars' ancient past and to answer other key questions about Mars and its history. Perseverance will land on Mars' Jezero crater on February 18, 2021. About the size and shape of a standard lab test tube, the 43 sample tubes headed to Mars must be lightweight and hardy enough to survive the demands of the round trip, and so clean that the future scientists will be confident that what they're analyzing is 100% Mars. Yeah, so I don't know if this will, let me see here. I can't play any audio, but I do have closed caption on because of copyright strikes. We don't want to see that happen. Shut my face off here while we're showing these. I love how they're showing the mechanics of this thing. It's pretty cool. You've seen them tubes. They're pretty good size. New Chaotic Order, what's going on? Good to see you there. He said, what samples? Well, these are going to be on the Perseverance rover. And what they're going to do is they're going to, drill for rock samples as usual and dust, whatever, and put it in these tubes. Well, first it's going to have the spectrum analyzer analyze the soil. Then they're going to drop it in there. Then it's supposed to be flown back to Earth. And now, there's different ways they're talking about doing this, so I don't know. But interesting enough, we'll just see what happens with that. Oh, yeah, we discover problems and we hide stuff in photos. Oh, I mean, what? There they are right there, the tubes. You'll see that. Pretty interesting. And you can see right here the drilling, and then it takes this thing, it moves them, the samples in and out. You can see it moving, taking one of the samples out of there once it gets the dirt put in it. And of course, it'll have to seal it rather. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty interesting. Stefan, you said, I suspect that the scientists are experimenting with astronauts breathing in the atmosphere of Mars in simulation centers here on Earth before they send them so they can survive more easily. Well, it's either that or they're just going to have a breathing apparatus. So, even if it's warm enough temperatures, which it has been, you can get warmer temperatures. Of course, then it gets real cold in the colder months, just like here in parts of the world. But you can bet that's what they're going to do, too, right? They're going to have them trying to breathe in thinner atmosphere, and because there's people here on Earth that do it all the time in higher elevations. But then you have, then if not, then they'll just have a breathing apparatus, and they're just that's it. They're just hell, they might be able to walk around with short sleeve shirts for all we know. As long as it's summertime, like here on Earth, where it's definitely warm enough. You can, and it's hit 70 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit on Mars. In the equatorial region, and of course in the summer months, the hottest months like here on Earth, July and August. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. And even if you had to wear a suit, who cares? It'd probably be something thin, probably won't be heavy duty, and a little small breathing apparatus, and that's it. Let's see. Long Island, New York. Good to see you. And they said, well, it's 1395 too. Chris, have you heard about the planet in the Kuiper Belt called Sedna? I have. I haven't done too much reading about it, though, so I can't really say too much about it. He said it was found in 2003. They say it's like Pluto. No missions to Sedna yet. Wonder why. Apparently it's red in color. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. But, well, if it doesn't look like a spacecraft, then they probably won't go to it. Remember, like these other asteroids and comets that they've gone to and visited, they had these strange shapes, so, yeah. Yeah, you like that, Whitebeard, the way they said that? They said, how she said that? Pretty interesting, huh? She said evidence. Jack Lambert, you said, imagining they bring back an end of humanity germ on virus in their tubes. Well, you could bet they're going to probably try to bring it into a sanitized room and all everything else, and something that will actually, analyze it all and everything on Earth first and see if there's anything out of the ordinary. But here's the thing, like you said, what happens if there's some weird germ that we're not even aware of? That would be interesting. But maybe they know it was a lot like Earth to begin with and really not see, you know what I mean? Not be too shocked to find something that's similar to what we got here on Earth. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. James Cragen, thank you very much again for your support, brother. I appreciate you. You said, Chris, let's talk about your Mars vid a day ago in regards to the 50 different NASA blurs that disseminated the photo that tells us what is hidden. Yeah, we're going to jump on these real quick. Now, I don't know if you guys seen this too. This was the, mysterious storm on Neptune. This was pretty cool because, and this was just on the 16th of this month, mysterious storm on Neptune abruptly reverses direction, baffling astronauts. Now, they think, you can see this right here. I'll make it a little bit bigger on the screen. This dark one right here in the center, above the equatorial region, that one there was the actual main storm, and they believe this little one over here, the very faint one on the right, was like a pot that broken off from it, right? Funny thing about it is they said usually these storms will actually keep going down south to the equatorial region where they usually die out. Well, as this one here was doing that, it suddenly took a turn and just started going back up north. I'm thinking, what the hell? So I found that pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but see, a mysterious dark storm on Neptune has been spotted abruptly reversing its direction by astronomers using NASA's Hubble Space Telescope, something they say has never been observed before. The storm, which is wider than the Atlantic Ocean, has been raging in the gas giant's northern hemisphere since at least 2018 and was slowly drifting towards the planet's equator when such storms are expected to dissipate. But instead of going gently to its death, and to the surprise of the observers, the vortex suddenly changed direction by August 2020 and doubled back to the north. So that's really interesting. Now, is it just upper, wind shear and all this other stuff up there, and it changed it and just started going a different direction? But it's the way they say abruptly. It's not like it just kind of started meandering off. It literally just went back up. I find that pretty cool. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. New chaotic order. He said, well, Neptune is a gas giant. Absolutely. But see, it's like I've always stated before, too. At some point, well, not at some point, but there's at least a solid in the middle of that, right? Because there's got to be something holding it together. So it makes you wonder, even on some of these huge gaseous planets, if there's not something at its core, and I call it a core, meaning the solid part or center of this gas planet living there. And you would never know it. You'd never see it there because basically it's all gas surrounding it, right? So that's pretty interesting. There you go, Your Highness. Swamp gas. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Jean. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. You said don't think it was a virus that killed life on Mars. More like an epic war flood. Yeah. Well, I think it was the war and then it flooded. I mean, it was just catastrophic in a level we just can't understand. And all we're seeing is just remnants of that. In a lot of areas that they're trying to block out so we can't actually see that. I find it interesting, man, just to see that stuff. But But yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of that. And, it's cool to be able to see such things and the different parts. And we know this is, like I showed that straight part, and I'll get to that, where to me that could be a root, meaning something organic, or it's something steel or artificial. And there's just no way around it. And that's what we're seeing more and more, right? Mimi reacts. Your question was, what if that dark patch is a craft? Now, that's the first thing that popped in my head. And it's underneath the gas. And this is, maybe those were two of them. How do we know? Maybe it's a city in the air. We don't know. Of course, pure speculation. We know that, right? But how do we know, though? You just don't know. Blue Flash, you said we are just a bunch of losers considering what other civilizations have achieved. Yeah, but what if Mars was a lot like we are today, only some years back? In other words, if they had still kept going with this civilization, they would be ahead of us, but not like, by maybe 50 years, which here would be a huge difference. If you could be here in about 50 years from now and see the difference, you'd be like probably astounded. Or, again, build a time machine and go in 50 years or 100 years from now. Because technology is growing by leaps and bounds, I mean, there's no telling what will be like in 100 years. It's just to be insane. But picture their civilization came to an abrupt stop, and they were just a little bit more ahead of us. And we're finding a lot of stuff that's very similar to what we have here. Then we'd be very familiar with everything. That's what's cool. Yeah, Kyle, he said, it says main dark spot, LOL. It's like, no crap, Sherlock. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that thing, right? But I love how they automatically call them storms. Now, there could very well be a storm. I mean, we got them in Jupiter. We got them in all places, right? And it could very well be an actual storm. But if it's under gas, how do we know what that is? And I haven't seen any motion frames. In other words, they put so many frames together and it becomes like a little mini movie. If this thing's moving along, I wonder if you can see the gases moving around it. You know what I mean? That'd be interesting. Anybody ever seen anything like that? That going on? Or ever seen something like that? New Chaotic Order, you said, I just watched a John Carter movie recently. Yeah, it's a good movie, isn't it? It's pretty sweet. Can you imagine having to be able to jump leaps and bounds and run like that? That'd be pretty sweet. But it goes to show you when you watch that movie, you go, I wonder if that's the kind of thing to take. See how those people are like literally extracting resources out of the ground, and of course they'd kill off all the other people and everything. It's a really good movie, and it's definitely, yeah, like you said, I think it's underrated. It's a decent. It is. I think it is. It's got a good story behind it, and of course it is truly sci-fi. Well, yeah, like I was just saying, I just jumped down here. Mimi, you said, Chris, maybe the gas was made to hide cities and structures. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, this might be natural gas, obviously. When I say natural gas, I mean it's a gaseous planet. So, but that doesn't mean something can't be living in the atmosphere of this. If it's a closed environment, they can live in that. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Architect Nat, you said have seen that. Same phenomenon of that of the Jupiter's red spot. And if you notice, too, they're saying that the red spot is actually diminishing. It's actually shrinking. I think I don't know if it's every year, but it's just shrinking a little bit every time. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Leslie Warren, you taking off? Well, good to have you in there anyway. And if you're taking off, have yourself a great Christmas and be safe there, right? Glad you stopped in. Long Island, New York is a Tic Tac UFOs, cigar-shaped asteroids, Dyson spheres around stars, NASA manipulating photos, NASA Astronauts claiming to see UFOs on the moon. Bob Lazar, what the F is going on? The government knows. Absolutely. But it's these people that are higher ups, these, yeah. I mean, they're going to be in the know about everything. We know that, right? So, it's unfortunate that we don't even get a piece of that. Although we are in a little bit. It's kind of like when they came out with the Tic Tac UFOs and the gimbal. Well, I think it was the gimbal one that was on the East Coast. The funny thing about it is that, like, even they're trying to come out with a little bit of information here and there. Because I think they're saying, listen, we need to move this information along because at some point, something's going to happen we're just not going to be able to deny. And, people are going to be pissed. You knew about this? Why didn't you tell us and everything? You know darn good and well that's what's going to happen. I know I would. I'd be completely furious. So, yeah. Whitebeard Sky Daddy said, we don't really know what the planets are. I've thought about what Jimmy was saying about things not being as far away as we're led to believe. Well, I mean, they could be the distance they're saying. But, whether they are or not, the question still stands is what's on these planets? And that, to me, is the big question. And, like I said, if you are a space agency and you've seen things on the moon, like I said, that's what started it all. Or maybe the stuff in Antarctica. Is it possible that they've seen things that have said, okay, maybe this wasn't us. Maybe something was here long before civilized man. Or, again, it's been generations, like the first cycle of man, back thousands of years ago. 65,000, 90,000 years ago. Whatever it might have been, 16,000 years ago, whatever. I don't think they have the true numbers, but, we don't know. We just we just assume, or they just go, they throw out the numbers. But, my question would be not so much the distance of these planets or whatever. I don't really care. But what I care is what's on them. And if they seen, like I said, what's on the moon, and they said, or here, and said, okay, that wasn't ours. Now we look at the moon. Oh, my God. Clearly there's something else here, or someone else here besides us. So they know it's right here at home, or close to home, our satellite to Earth. So they go, okay. Clearly, there's something else out there. I mean, would you guys say differently? If you found something on Earth that wasn't ours or something we couldn't make back thousands of years ago, and then suddenly you look at the moon and you say, okay, clearly that wasn't ours because it's been there for probably thousands of years ago, so it wasn't ours. Or maybe it was. Depends. I don't know. You wouldn't go, let's just stop looking there. I think we're good. We see what's on there. Clearly it's not ours, but who cares? We don't need to search anymore. Are you kidding me? You'd be on a frenzy. You'd go absolutely buck wild trying to figure out what's on the rest of these planets and try to gather as much information, right? Jean Ward, you said blimp. Well, it's kind of the shape of one, isn't it? But they have that kind of oval look to them anyway, these storms, because I guess it's just the atmosphere, the upper winds, and the way they swirl and everything else, just like the one on Jupiter. Yeah. But it does have that kind of look to it. Mimi, you said, looks like, you said like a camouflage. Could very well be. Scratch, you said, we are mentally de-evolving. We rely on tech too much. Tech that at the mercy of the sun, one big burp from the sun, and we're back to nothing. Add that to the lack of critical thinking. Yeah, absolutely. The only people that would actually make it is if you live on the land to begin with. Because most people say, oh, the grocery store's closed. What do I do now? Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, if they ever do that, it would be knocked into the dark ages. It'd be like pure pandemonium. Yeah, you can forget about it. So, oops. Mike Hoover, you said, John Lair knows something, knows some crap. He solidly believes and claims to know, there are 40 planets and life on all. I've heard stories about that as well. And then, you know what? I don't doubt it. I really don't. Oh, so you are still there, Leslie. So who just left then? Oh, that's too funny. New York, you said due to different evolution paths or genetic manipulation, alien beings would look hideous to humans in the same way a human-sized bug would gross us out. Well, pretty much. Yeah, that would definitely freak you out. Kyle, thank you very much. Appreciate you, man. Fist bump. Virtual bump, brother. Oh, now you're leaving, Leslie? I'm bedbound, mate. Too damn cold to stay up. Have my tablet God sent for me. Well, alrighty then. If you are taking off, have yourself a good night. A good Christmas day, right? Blue Flash, you said alien crafts have been seen to be moving at speeds exceeding that of light. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if you get some kind of field around you, and depending on what you're traveling through, you know, like a void, you probably wouldn't have any resistance, right? But if you're going through water, they said they can travel just as fast through water as they can through air. How is that possible? Well, this force or this field around you, it literally displaces the water, and I guess it allows you to travel through it quite quickly. I don't know if it's quite as fast as air, but depending on the, you know, the area, or what would you call it? Medium, we'll call it. If whatever you're going through at some point, I mean, it's, you know, they can pretty much overcome all of that, which is interesting. Yeah, so, and this is what we were talking about earlier. It said 9 days ago, and it says the first lunar samples in 44 years are a few days away from Earth, right? So, and it says right here, it's supposed to be on the 17th. Was it that time? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's supposed to be on the 17th. I don't know if you guys can read that, but that's full screen. Pretty interesting. Mr. Seven Digits said there's no question our galaxy is full of life. The real question is, are we close enough to interact? And we are slowly beginning to realize that as a truth. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Leslie said, in a drop of what we fancy, Chris. Cheers. Let's hope next year's better. Yay. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I hope it is. And like I said, have yourself a good evening and a good weekend coming up there, right? So cheers to you as well, Leslie. No, Your Highness, it isn't quite over yet, but it's getting there. Hopefully, right? P. Ruben Cable Pinto. He said, wow, until now, I watched that you are here. Sweet. And you can see where this thing's actually putting these, the capsules are coming together. You can see it right now. It's transitioning the actual samples, put it in that craft, and then it's going to take off, and that's going to go back to Earth. So, yeah, like I said, I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know if you guys have, but so that'd be interesting to see. I'd like to see what their the results show. Ooh, they got a nice wooden post on theirs. I love that. Pretty funny. But, yeah, I mean, guys, It's crazy, the stuff that's going on here, right? Now, we were talking about that signal. They call it the BLC-1. BLC is a candidate SETI radio signal announced in December 2020, possibly coming from the star Proxima Centauri. The signal has a frequency of 982.002 megahertz, and an apparent shift in its frequency is consistent with the Doppler effect caused by movement of Proxima b, a planet of Proxima Centauri. Yeah, anytime you get like something moving, you have to have what they call a Doppler effect, so you got to readjust your frequency for that. So it'd probably been more on the 982 or just shy of 982 or 982.000 as opposed to 2. But you always have that Doppler effect. You got to go up to like 2 kilohertz or whatever, and then go up from it. It said the radio signal was detected during 30 hours of observation conducted by Breakthrough Listen through the Parkes Observatory in Australia in April and May of 2019. As of December 2020, follow-up observations have failed to detect the signal again. The step necessary to confirm the signal was a techno-signature. I don't think that should be the case, though. You know, it might have been something, again, that they just let out once in a while. Or it might have been something, an experiment they were doing, and then they just quit the experiment. Why do they automatically assume we got to see it over and over again, which is a good thing if they do see it again, because then it confirms it, right? But how do we know they haven't confirmed it? I'm not listening through that SETI. I'm not sitting at one of these radio receivers. I'm not one of these computers, listening to all these frequencies all at once and to see if it's doing it again. How do we know? I think SETI's already heard this. I guarantee it. They know there's other civilizations out there, and this is how they're getting funding for more dish time to listen to the skies. You know, because other than that, they'd be like, kind of like Contact, the movie Contact, where they say, oh, you guys are just listening to birdies and garbage and, stuff that'll never come true, blah, 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 blah. The only way you got to get funding is because you got something to show for it. That'd be my guess, right? Scratch, you said I've spotted objects in live SpaceX launch videos. I have 3 cam grabs I took from one launch. They weren't fast enough with switching the cams, LOL. Yeah, it's kind of like the one that they showed when, remember they had that explosion that was right there on the actual launch pad, and it showed what looked like some kind of little orb or something flying around, and I think that's what detonated that. Now, I don't know how true that is, but, I've seen this in more than one, slightly different angle. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if you've seen that. Kyle says, I forgot the like button also. Let's get it on. Slam that thumbs up, guys. Hit it hard. Sean Sellers. Merry Christmas, he said to everybody. Well, Merry Christmas to you and yours. I've seen that, Colleen. You said, Chris, have you given much to the cosmic web theory? I saw a shot of space with stars shining the way we see them spaced apart. But what we can't see is a lot under different lens. It's actually a web. I've seen something like that where, depending on if you put it in different light spectrums, right? It showed like some kind of weird kind of thing. Kind of like this web kind of feature. I don't know if you guys are Star Trek fans, diehards, but you remember the Tholian web? I don't know if you guys remember that, but it's the one I believe it is. They literally had like these 2 spacecraft that like built this. They'd go back and forth, and they built this web in front of the spaceship so they couldn't get out, or they built it around them. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's see. I don't know if you guys have seen this either. I want to let you guys, again, I can't play the audio, but watch this. Again, this kind of backs up what Sarah's work said. Check this out. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'll make this full screen. It's going to be a closed caption. Again, we don't want any, copyright strikes. But check this out. Imagine that. Was once a lush forest kind of thing. 90 million years ago. I don't think that's true, but yeah. Extract the core of material 30 meters into the seafloor, which I think is 98 feet? We recovered the core. We could also see what's inside, and that was very unusual. I mean, basically, they found like organics. They did a CT scan back home, and this is what they found. Check this out. So you got the, you can see the core at the top, basically rock and stuff like that. As you can see, it's strata. And then a network of fossil roots. There you go. And they're intertwined and together. Pristinely preserved. Now, didn't she say that in her thesis about how the that it was actually a lush, green, foresty kind of area? There you go. And it does make sense anyway, right? Before we had either a pole shift or whatever, Antarctica wasn't where it's at now. It was in a different position. More and probably like the... probably a more equatorial region, and this is the reason why they had warm temperatures. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was, life all over Antarctica at the time, and including civilized life. And if we go back thousands of years ago, where we seen that video where I've done and broke down them structures, it wouldn't surprise me. It's like, there you go. Yep, carbon dioxide levels, they were higher than they are today. And they were saying things were much bigger back thousands of years ago too, right? So much, there was more carbon, so of course, plants and stuff thrived, so on and so forth. Sure. What do you guys think of that? To me, it's just wild, man, because, again, it backs up Sarah's work, and I don't think anybody was kind of blown away by that because, again, this Antarctica is actually lush forest and greenery and everything else. It doesn't surprise me, and, but it just goes to prove. Now, here's what's really funny. Now it says, I don't know if you heard about this, but they're getting a lot of quakes. You can see it right here. Why is Antarctica shaking like crazy? More than 50,000 earthquakes in 3 months baffle scientists. Why? Because there's volcanic action. Right. So that's helping defrost more of the ice. Think about this a minute, guys. This is the reason why we're seeing more and more things on this island, or this, what do you call it, rather? This continent. And there you go, man. Look at this. Hitting the surface of the continent. More than 50,000 tremors have rocked Antarctica since the end of August. Such an impressive spike of seismic activity has never been witnessed by scientists. Now, you can see a major M6, as well as thousands of other smaller quakes, were detected in Bransfield Strait, a 60-mile-wide ocean channel between the South Shetland Islands and the Antarctica Peninsula. And, of course, you can see it right here, the peninsula right here. Although several tectonic plates and microplates meet near the strait, and thus frequent rumbling, the past 3 months have been unusually, according to the University of Chile. But it just goes to show you, they're showing these hot spots and everything else. It's a volcano. You got Orca Volcano here. Three Sisters Edifice, you can see right here, the way they have this aligned here. So that's not a good thing, but it's helping melt the ice on Antarctica. And this is probably the reason why they're finding some crazy things on there now. It's helping them out. Now, unless these things break through the surface, which would be a bad thing for them, that wouldn't be good. So, yeah. And even over here, we got another page right here. Fossilized remains of 90-million-year-old rainforest found under Antarctica ice. Imagine that. Leslie said, that's amazing, Chris, that work you and Sarah did. Amazing, but I've always known and other archaeologists for many years, but it is it was forbidden. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I just find it interesting that, again, you're getting sources, you're getting information from different sources, and now they're doing the work and saying, okay, it kind of corroborate her work and other people's work that you've heard of. They've talked about this in the past, and here we go. They're talking about this. Imagining the climate of Antarctica region usually prompts visions of dog sleds, parkas, and explorers like Ernest Shackleton struggling to access the area, only to be beaten back by snow, ice, and freezing temperatures. But you can see where they talk about this. Polar opposite. That's right. And it's, you guys get the pages to this and everything, and this is basically what we just seen in the video. They're talking about right here. And right? So, but it's confirming now what a lot of people have been saying, and that, so there could have been dinosaurs on there. It could have been anything in Antarctica. There you go. Thank you, Mr. 786 Otto. I do appreciate you. Thank you very much. You said Merry Christmas, Chris. Merry Christmas to you and yours, Otto. I hope you have a safe one. And like I said, I don't know if you're going to have bad weather like we're supposed to have here on Christmas. Not really bad as far as deep snow, but it can be very icy and slippery. So be careful if you're traveling, and have yourself a good Christmas day and a prosperous New Year there, right? Again, thank you very much. Yep, Noodles, you say, here we go, Sarah. Yep. And again, it's just, anytime you've heard anything about Antarctica, they're saying, yeah, there might have been, it might have been much different than it is today. There you go. And I've heard this many times, and Sarah's work's no different. She did great work on that. And now you see this right here. It's basically corroborating what she's been saying too, and others have said. But here you go. It's right there. And I think that's awesome. Again, pieces of the puzzle being thrown together, and then other work being backed to actually prove it. Or at least back the actual, whether it be peer review papers or whatever. But here you go. These are scientists doing this work, and they're finding, oh, wow, it was lush greenery. Yeah, imagine that. But now scientists, paleontologists, and other experts of ancient eras say that Antarctica was not always thus. The once upon a long time ago, its landscape bore a greater resemblance of rainforest than the inside of a refrigerator, and had temperatures that were downright balmy. Imagine that. So, yeah. Now, they're saying 90 million years ago. I don't know if their calculations are correct. Because, we could be off, right? They could be off a little bit here and there. But regardless of the fact, there you go. Sean Salaz, he said Greenland, too, maybe has hidden secrets. Could very well be. Because you can bet they weren't all the way they are today either. And a lot of them, like Greenland and Iceland, are all having, their snow disappears more and more every year. However, it does come back, right? We know that. But is it as thick as the years past? That's the difference. So we don't know. But there's a lot of, I know I've seen pictures of Iceland where there's a lot of areas that are just like, regular rock and everything else, and it's not an ice sheet. So you can bet these areas have been populated at one time, whether by us or somebody else. Even Sarah said, I don't believe we were the first people on this planet. And she may be right. You can call it speculation because there's no way of actually knowing this, right? Unless, of course, you're in the know. But regardless, I don't think that's far-fetched at all. I think, we might have been brought here by some more intelligent beings, and then we were just kind of like left here and whatever else. I don't know. Because there's stories of that too, right? The Sumerians saying that, and how they changed that DNA, and then, of course, they were supposed to kill us off after we had, mined all this gold for them. But then, of course, the superior people said, no, just leave them be, let's go, and, we'll come back at a later time and everything else. So, and thus, here we are today. But what if, millions of years ago, there was other structures and civilizations there, and, maybe they were abandoned, whatever. Maybe there's a pole shift and they took off from there and said, to hell with it, there's no point in being here, and maybe they moved to another part of Earth, or maybe they just took off. How do we know? Or was it us again, the first cycle of man was millions of years ago. So is it possible that we're the ones that built all that? I don't know. It's all pure speculation here, guys. We don't know for sure. But it's interesting nonetheless, right? Archetype Net, you're going back and forth where you're giving arts and crafts at Google, the Lego Antikythera mechanism. Yeah, that's pretty interesting in itself. I think it was, what is it, off the coast of Greece that was found? Where they say it has more intricate parts than a Swiss watch, or as many as a Swiss watch. So I found that really interesting, and I think somebody had duplicated that. They don't know if it was something to do with, I'm trying to remember if it was, I don't think it was placement of bodies in the sky. I think it was got to do with What was it? What was it? Architect Net? Was it for like signs or something like that, like Sagittarius, Cancer, and all that BS in the sky and stuff like that? I forget what it was exactly. What it did. I don't know if they say it was a computing device at one time, so on and so forth. There's different things that they said that this thing was capable of doing, but nonetheless, really, really interesting stuff. Stefan taking off? Yep, he says, good night all. Have a fantastic Christmas and an amazing New Year. Here's to hanging out in 2021 with all the new anomalies. All right, Stefan, good night to you as well. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Be safe, and we'll see you definitely on the flip side there, right? We'll try to get another video. Probably, I'm going to see if it'll be over the weekend or maybe just before the 1st. I don't know yet. We'll have to see how it plans out because I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of you guys probably have off work until like New Year's or whatever. Unfortunately, I got to go back to work. It's Saturday, but that's fine. And but I'm going to try to do some relaxing too before the during up to that point of the 1st, and try to chill myself. So. James Cragen, he said, Chris, in your Lunar Vids, rather, about the back of the moon and alien hunters. Also, there is a huge structure that is identical to the Aztecs temple. Maya 1 is the Mexican jungle. Definitely a connection, man. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. Some people say that the Egyptian, pyramids, the Egyptians actually stumbled on those. They didn't even make those. And then, of course, some of the writings say that, yeah, we built them, but we had but the overseers actually helped us, or the guardians have helped us. So interesting one way or the other. We really don't know, right? Now, was it these guardians that, like you said, is a connection? Is there a connection? They helped build here, but they also built on the moon. I don't know. I really, truly don't. Oops. John Shea said all about different maps that showed no break between South America and Antarctica and when the break appeared. Yeah, like they were talking about earlier, the Perry-Meese. I didn't even pronounce that right. But anyway, the map where they showed it literally is mapped out, and they say that the only way you could see that is if you were in the air. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that would make sense if you're trying to see the overall shape, because the shape is really, it's like eerily close to what we see in our own satellite images. Perry-Reese map is what I meant to say. But, it shows at a time before ice. Wait a minute, how does this guy get this? And how do they know that? That's what's interesting. So was it that long ago that, there was life on that continent? I don't know. Has all the time frames been changed to make it look, oh, it was thousands of years ago, when clearly it wasn't. Because I think, what was the last ice age, guys? Was it about 16,000 years ago, I think? I don't know if it was that, or I think it was like 16,000 years. I could be wrong. Rock Hits, he said, midnight here, Chris. A great stream, great topics. Merry Christmas all night. Right back at you, Rock Hits. I don't know if you're taking off, but have yourself a good one. I appreciate you being here, and Merry Christmas to you and yours, and be safe. Oh, yeah. Nick Mad, what's going on? You say, hello, Chris. Have a good Xmas or Christmas. Well, thank you, Nick. Good to see you there, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and yours has a good Christmas as well. Pete's Vlog's got a big old smiley face. Let's see. Scratch, you said, LOL, have you ever noticed anything about the TR3B application? Not sure. I've seen some of the application, or the actual application for it. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I know they talked about. They were kind of wasn't it a little weird how they talked about the propulsion or something on there? But it was that one, and there was another one I saw. I'm trying to remember what it was. They were talking about anti-gravitics, I think, in one of them, which was really interesting, and how they said that the inside of the craft would actually have energy inside it and causing it to anti-gravitate. Thought was pretty interesting. But I don't know. What have you noticed there, Scratch? New York, 1395, he said, more Ganymede vids, please. Yeah, there are some crazy things on there, man. That one I did, a lot of people liked because it's more of a 2D thing. And then when you bring it to a 3D, then you really see it, right? And if you guys haven't seen it, just look up Ganymede video. You can go to my regular homepage and put it in the search box and just put Ganymede. But that one, it's like, everybody jumped on that one because it was like crazy stuff on there. Because when you first see it, it's like, nothing spectacular. But then you notice when you enhance this thing, it's actually in 3D, meaning there's higher areas and lower, like you would expect on any planet or moon or whatever, because mountainous areas and whatever. But what you see is what look like round, like domes and, these tunnelways and all kinds of weird crap going on there. Stuff absolutely is mind-blowing. James Cragen, thank you very much again, sir, for your support. You said, Chris, on behalf of all of us truth seekers here tonight and all of the other great subscribers that follow your great channels and fantastic hangouts, have a Guinness on us, man. You well deserve it. Well, I appreciate that, James. Hey, absolutely. Especially New Year's, right? Hey. So, yeah, again, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Marcus Peters, you taking off? He said, to all my fellow Martians to be, have a Merry Christmas. Best regards. Same right back at you there, Marcus. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Hope you have a good Christmas and a great New Year, right? Dave Avery, good night to you as well, sir. Thank you for joining us. He said, wishing you all a very Merry Christmas. Stay safe. You do that as well, man. Dave, have yourself a good one. Be safe with you and the family. And hopefully it'll be just a great New Year, right? hopefully we can transition out of this BS we're into now, and we can just move out of this, right? It'd be really great to know this. Finally get out of this crap. For some reason, this thing's not letting me share links at all. Colleen Barnes, I know you put a link there, and it's not letting me post any of these links. Let me see if I can copy it. All right, I think that's the link there. I don't know if it'll work, but I just put it on there. I copied it and put it on there that Colleen was trying to share. Michael Starkey said several remote viewers report that under Antarctica is a massive alien mothership, and governments have agreements with ETs to trade resources and do human experimentations in exchange for advanced technology. You know, I heard that more than once. I don't know how true that is either, but really interesting. I heard like a hollow Earth kind of thing, and of course they're supposed to be that giant hole in one of the poles where aliens can go in and out. I don't know how true all that is, but it would not surprise me if there's somebody here before us. Maybe we were Neanderthals at the time, and they were more civilized. How do we know? It wouldn't surprise me if you had life underneath the ground of Earth, and of course on top of Earth. Some of the Native Indians claim that they were like ant people type thing. They come out of the ground, and that's where they originated from, that they weren't from the surface of the Earth, that they were from beneath the Earth. How do we know? Kyle, you were talking, I don't know who you're talking to. He said dropping nukes on Mars to melt the ice is the dumbest idea I've heard. Sends 8 hot dogs and 6 hot dog buns. Well, the thing is, they were supposed to try to kickstart Mars, basically, right? So it actually start warming up and everything else. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they should be doing that at all. Because at some point, now I don't know, I believe it's during the solar cycles here of our own star, our sun, and every 11 years it has its own cycle, where at the 11th year it's at its peak, and then of course it starts. So every 11 years that it has its own cycle. So every planet in the United States, every planet in the solar system heats up. So we know that. I don't think doing that to Mars is the answer either, unless of course they're trying to extinguish something that's on there that shouldn't be. Because think about it. If you were to use nuclear to basically according to them, terraform the planet, but in the meantime, you kill anything that's organic, maybe that's alive. You kill it all, so when they finally do go to Mars, oh yeah, look, it's completely dead. Well, it may be devoid of life now, but it doesn't mean it was then, before you guys decided to basically dispose of anything that was living on the planet. So, yeah, I don't know. Blue Flashy said, food for thought. We exist here, occupying space, and the existence conforms to the laws of physics. Well, yeah, that, and the fact is, like I said before, somebody had dropped that on me where they said, the fact that we're here proves there's life other places. Come on, we ain't that special. Come on. if we are carbon-based life forms, when the Big Bang happened, carbon was scattered throughout the universe. So why couldn't there be life on other planets again? You know, even if they evolve differently, maybe to their atmospheres or whatever. Maybe it's just water life. Maybe it's just land life. Who knows? But that doesn't mean there couldn't be any other life out there. That simply makes no sense to me. New Chaotic Order says, think the movie Avatar. Yep, absolutely. You see how they feel about the indigenous people in there, right? Yeah. Oh, okay, Colleen, you got it now. You say, who knows? Maybe it's Canadian LOL, but recopied. Um, it's called A Deep Truth of Our Origins. And, of course, she's got the link there. If you guys just want to copy and paste, then you'll have it there, right? Let's see. Universe Inside You is the name of the actual channel. So that's pretty interesting. James, you said, Chris, you were talking a while ago about SETI and funding. Well, part of the Vatican's $54 million investment in space research that they announced recently includes SETI also. What does that tell you, man? Yeah. You know, again, people have a thirst for knowledge, and if you have the money, guess what? There's a good chance you're going to absolutely be in the know. That's all there is to it. Picture yourself just waking up, winning the lottery, and you're filthy rich, and you just say, listen, let me give you some money. Even if you talk to somebody that works at one of these SETI programs or whatever, works at SETI or for NASA or whatever else, and you say, listen, I won't say a word about it. Here's X amount of money. Tell me what's up. Or you do your own, have somebody else build a small spacecraft for you to go to Mars, and it takes photos and sends them back, and then it crash lands, and that's the end of it. Just so you can get a couple photos for yourself. How do you know? Because you can have this thing come in slow, right? Come into the, you can have somebody build it. It doesn't have to be very big, but just enough to send information back, to Earth, and somehow you rent out one of these giant radio telescopes, and you get the information back just strictly to you. Because you got this kind of money, you can do that. And, this thing goes in the atmosphere, slows down, takes pictures of a certain area, and then crashes into it, and that's the end of it. You got what you wanted. Got your information. Kyle, yeah. He read it. Scratch, you said, I believe in the electric universe theory that goes against the gravity model of the universe and all what is taught to people everywhere. Yeah, I mean, there's different theories coming out anyway. We know that, right? At some point, more and more scientists are going to, jump on either side to what they can really prove and peer-reviewed and everything else. So, yeah, I mean, that's the good thing about science is that it's always changing, right? What they say 20, 30 years ago might be totally different today because of new information. And that's cool. That's what I love about science. It's forever changing. Now, at some point, we might go, it's a bunch of crap because we found out differently. Well, sometimes it takes, time for peer reviewed, and then they come up with it and say, well, this is what we found out. And it's like, okay, well, that just confirmed what we've been suspicious about all this time. So, yeah. Anna Marie O'Connor, you said, great question. You said, are they melting Antarctica and blaming it on climate change? No, they're not doing that. It's like I said, there's actually earthquakes going on underneath there. And what it is actually lava. In fact, guys, if you think about it, even Sarah, if you've read her thesis, she said the same thing. There's actually lava flows under Antarctica, and this is what's causing the areas of Antarctica to melt, as far as the ice sheets and everything else. So it's cool, but it's not cool. In other words, if you have enough earthquakes and they get strong enough, that may not be a good thing to, to what's left over there, meaning structures or whatever. Maybe this is the reason why during one of that video I showed you where it looked like it had that weird, in the very beginning of the video, it had where the mountaintops look symmetrical and it looked like a giant insect or some kind of weird thing. Some guy said, well, that was just it's just fake. I don't care about that. What I cared about was when you seen the helicopters going over these large ships that had these giant doors on them so you can put stuff in them. Is it possible that they know what's going on, and at some point, the volcanoes will take over and it'll ruin everything on that continent? So they're trying to get whatever they can, and of course they're putting into these holding bays of these giant ships, and they're shipping this stuff off. It's not just one ship coming once a month for supplies. These things are coming and going into these giant ports. So, these are giant cargo ships with these huge doors that open up, like barn doors kind of thing. So yeah, they're doing something up there. Because it makes you wonder, what are they taking out of there, and why do they need that much, these large ships going in and out of these ports? It's got to be something they're moving there. Leslie Warren, you said, we have carbon the same as stars. Yeah, we're carbon-based life forms. So yeah, absolutely. Olin Creel, you said, sounds like one of Antarctica's volcanoes are about to blow. Well, because it has lava flowing underneath it to begin with, I guess maybe it's not building up pressure, but it is heating up the continent, or at least certain parts. Because obviously you have like mountainous areas where that won't melt because it's so high and thick, and the actual mountain itself and the rock and everything else, there's a good chance it's not going to melt all the way through the mountains. But as far as the low-lying areas, you would think that'd be more of the case. So that's what I think is going on. Now, I hope it doesn't happen like that, but it's always a possibility, right? Yeah, exactly. I could tell you. Now, you said it explains the massive amount of money in the omnibus spending bill going to the Smithsonian. The cargo from all of these ships is going somewhere. Totally agree. Let me see. Leslie, you said, interesting, Chris. I've heard of this secret large ships and big haulage planes, as well as I agree, Chris. I think it's been going on for years, and now they're getting frightened now. Yeah, it could very well be because, like I said, if that's the case and they get more and more eruptions, listen, it's more urgent now that whatever we need to get off here, we can. We need to do it now. Let's just get it done. And it makes sense to do that, right? You may be right there, Kyle. He said the truth will come to us when we die. When you die, you gain 100% of your consciousness, and all life's questions will be revealed. You won't even have to ask the questions because you're a part of everything. Well, the only bad part about it is, you'd be like, wow, I found it all out. Who do I talk to? I can't. unless, of course, subconsciously, or these, because you basically get turned back into energy kind of thing, that maybe you can interact with a lot of other people like ourselves or other people, right? David Clark says, Marvin Gaye said it well. Everything is everything. Pretty much. Max K said, here in Scotland, we've been in tears for years. I've not seen my granddaughter for 8 weeks, only allowed Christmas Day and 2 households, then lockdown on Boxing Day. Awful. Yeah, I mean, that kind of sucks. I mean, I wish they would do the same thing here, though, at times, to be honest with you. Just so we can stop the spread of this. It's really sucks to hear that. But in some ways, it's kind of like, if they can just do it, say, listen, shut everything down for like 3 weeks to a month. Now, of course, necessity things you have to do, like go out and get something to eat and then go home. Things like that. So, I mean, you can get over and hurdle this to the point where if everybody was just to go home all at once and not come out, that would be interesting. In other words, have the country, I think I said this, have the governments of, or government officials, whatever, from every state, country, whatever it may be, okay, we're going to give everybody a stimulus. You're all going to get it in such and such a time. Then I want you to go out and you want you to do your shopping, do whatever you have to do, because you will not be able to come out for another 3 weeks. So everybody does what they got to do. They all shop, then they go back home. They wait for 3 weeks or whatever, a month, and then everybody can come back out. And maybe it'll decline so massively that, people will actually get some normalcy back. What do you guys think about that? You think it's a bad idea or a good idea? Leslie Warren, you said, why would some planes going over Antarctica have power loss and gyroscope go haywire? Sarah said this in her thesis. Yeah, because it's basically the magnetic, right? Magnetic fields or whatever of Antarctica. And as I think it was Archetype Net was talking about, where he's talking about these magnetic fields are changing and moving and so on and so forth. If I read that correctly earlier. So, it wouldn't surprise me. It's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle, how they talk all the instruments go crazy and stuff like that. So, interesting. But I don't know. It's just, these guys, these people get lost going over the continent. And, so they're like, we don't know what the hell to do. And we had that other gentleman that went over there. I don't know if it was Antarctica, but at the time. But some of these places that are like near the poles and stuff like that have, you got your magnetic fields. So it's going to mess with everything you have. It's kind of like being next to a magnet with a compass, right? It just goes haywire. So it's no different. And it's anything electromagnetic is going to do the same. So, how many planes went out of control and maybe crashed in that area? Who the hell knows? That we don't know about. Could very well have happened, right? Pete, you said, yes. Edgar Casey said Atlantis would rise again. Yep. See, now the links are working. It had yours actually held for review, and I clicked on it and it came right on. I don't know. It's weird how YouTubers love to mess with people. Maybe React, she said, we have a curfew. A lot of people are getting that. And maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. I know in some countries there's like $1,000 fine if you're caught outside without a mask or not 6 feet, stuff like that. And sometimes, extreme measures got to be taken, Renee Cruz, you said no Christmas Day Catholic Mass. Well, yeah, I mean, it's sad that it's like that because a lot of people, they do, you go to in Christmas Eve, you go to a mass and stuff like that, and then, of course, the next day it's Christmas and everything else. And it puts a damper on a lot of things, just going out in general. It sucks. Mimi says, after 9 p.m., you're not allowed to be outside. Well, Maybe that's what it takes. You know, you hate to be locked up like a bunch of animals, but on the other side of the token, you're thinking, okay, but this is for the good, you know, the general public. So, but if everybody adhered to it, this would be great. Some people are like, I ain't listening to that. So, you know, what do you do? Lee Herring, he said, hey guys, Merry Christmas. What are we on? Holiday schedule, Chris? Yeah, I figured, he said, glad I checked in. Yeah, I figured before, you know, Christmas Eve and Christmas, I figured I'd get on with you guys because it won't be one on Friday. We'll all be chilling with our families and our loved ones. So, you know, I figured, hey, you know, maybe get together with you guys and, you know, share a little time there, right? John Hookings, thank you very much for your support, man. I do appreciate you. He said, love your channel. It's good for the soul. Best wishes to yours and to you and yours for Christmas. Well, I appreciate it, man. Same back at you, dear John. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and hope it's a prosperous and good New Year's. God knows we could use it. So we'll just see what happens, right? We'll just make sure we do our part, and hopefully this will work. If not, then we might be SOL in the beginning of this year. I don't know. But hopefully everything will kind of work and kind of smooth itself out, so to say. Renee, you're right. Yep, eat food and watch movies. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If my job told me tomorrow, oh, by the way, you guys gonna have to stay home for 3 weeks. You know, hurt my feelings any. I'm out. Yeah, Kyle, he said, I like the curfew, but my thing is lately people are driving like retards. I've seen more people run red lights in the last 6 months than I have seen in my whole life. Yeah, have you noticed that? I mean, we had that where a lot of things were locked down in our area, where we had a lot of people. You didn't see too many cars on the road. Suddenly people came out. It's almost like they forgot how to drive. Have you guys noticed that in your own areas? That was just really weird. It's just crazy. Pete's Vlogs, good to see you in there. And you have yourself a good one there, right? You said, later, folks, I'm out of here. Good night. Later, Chris. Well, I appreciate being here, Pete's Vlogs. You know, you have a good Christmas, you and yours. I hope it's a good one. Be safe. And we'll see you on the flip side there, right? I think we are going to wrap it up ourselves. I got some things I got to get done, too, before tomorrow. So I'm going to jump off this thing. Oops, hit the wrong one. Hold on. Anyway, guys, it's been a good year. It's been awesome. You guys are awesome. It's good to have everybody aboard here. You guys are what makes this channel, right? So I want to thank every one of you for just making this a great channel and just a great conversation all the way around. You know, I wish nothing but love and, you know, peace for you guys, for you and your families. Just have a great, you know, just chill, you know, for the Christmas time. Like I said, enjoy your loved ones and just relax. And, you know, New Year's, we're going to be cranking it out too. Just going to keep going with it. So, you know, everybody be safe. Have a good Christmas. And again, I hope everybody has a prosperous New Year's. Because this, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm trying to think positive and, you know, because a lot of crap's going on, a lot of negativity. I'm trying to look past that. Of course, it's not always easy. We know that because with everything going on, we get it. But, you know, you guys are awesome. You have been. I just can't say it enough. Just a great bunch of people. That's why I wanted to do this, because I said, well, seeing we're not going to have it, because I'll be spending it with my family as well on Friday, and we're not going to do it. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and we're going to have one on Wednesday. That'll be awesome. So thanks for everyone being here, and every time we're on Fridays. Again, you guys are what make the channel. If it wasn't you guys, there wouldn't be one, right? So kudos to everybody out there, both ladies and gents. And like I said, much love to everybody out there. And like I said, be safe to everybody, right? Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. I do appreciate you all, and for all your support. That's throughout the year. It's not just like one day. Thank you, James, again. He said a happy Christmas, Chris, and everyone tonight. Thank you very much again for your support, and everybody who has supported tonight. And just, I don't care if it's verbal support. I don't care if it's just praising the channel and the work we do here. That's support to me, no matter how you look at it. So I appreciate everything that you guys do, and everybody being here, like-minded people, be able to have a good conversation and talk with everybody, and it's just awesome. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, you guys have echoed this 1,000 times, where you said, it's great. In fact, I forget who it was earlier, said, there's a lot of channels that they listen to. They go to live feeds and everything else. He says, but this one here is by far number one. And so, because they're like-minded people, he says when he talks to other people, they think, oh, you got the tinfoil hats and everything else. And it's not about, conspiracy, really. It's about, like I said, I've always said, is it a conspiracy if you can back it with facts? To me, not so much, right? Archetype Net, he said, bye, everyone, and thanks to Chris for putting on another live stream. Everyone is great company. Thank you all. I totally agree with the Archetype Net. You're awesome, too. Everybody here is awesome. And like I said, I've always said that, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Just a great bunch of people. And the thing is, like you said, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. It's like, you can't talk this stuff with your friends. Maybe you can get away with it a little bit, but that's not always the case. And, when you can literally sit there and talk with other people here in the room, wow. I mean, that's just awesome. You're not being scoffed at. People are talking amongst each other, having a great time. What more could you ask for? Like I said, it's like everybody just sitting around, like just having a drink, just chilling, and just talking amongst yourselves. And I can see this is the reason why I'll pause, because I'll see you guys like talking amongst each other, going back and forth and answering each other, and which is great. A lot of communities, they'll do that, but not as I've seen this one here. It's like really close knit, and knit rather, and it's just awesome. It's just cool. So. Once again, guys, everybody have a great day. Have a great New Year's coming up, and definitely a good Christmas. Have a good dinner. Be safe out there. And like I said, we'll be doing these, we'll be cranking these things out come 2020. Hopefully it'll be a better year. Anyway, guys, peace. Have yourselves a good night there, right?